This is Big Podcast.
I started recording, well, my first session was when I was 5. And when I mean session, I'm talking about recording an album. It wasn't my album. I was a studio musician. They needed a kid's voice on it. And I remember it took so long. It was awful for a 5-year-old kid. And we were there, I don't know, half a day, all day. It seemed like it was all day. My first experiences recording, all of them were music. Moved into radio. Obviously, here I am in podcasting. I've done audiobooks. And something that I've noticed that has happened really in the last, let's say 5 or 10 years, digital changed everything when we went to analog to digital. But now AI is changing everything. Also, distribution methods are changing everything. When we went to a very limited outlet, meaning 24 hours a day, one television station, one radio station, you can't pack any more than 24 hours in. But something like YouTube, something like podcasting even, we can knock out as much as we want. We can put it out there. There's going to be an audience for it. Obviously, there's a lot of noise. You know that conversation. And now, because of digital, because of tools that we've got, because of things like AI, there's a lot more churn and burn in content. I'm thinking about this myself. I want to have something that's not released this week, and then next week, people forget about it. Or even just creating it. You finish one thing, whatever that is, a podcast, a video, even a book, and you think, what's next? Got to get to the next thing. Because we're in a hungry ghost situation. It's almost like fast fashion. People buy it, and they think it's disposable. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into this topic in a second. It's Build a Big Podcast, the marketing podcast for podcasters. If you've got a podcast, you want to grow your podcast, make more people care about it, make money with that podcast, make a podcast that matters. Make a podcast that maybe, even in the world that we're in, isn't disposable, something that has impact. This is the podcast for you. My name is David Hooper, and you can find me at bigpodcast.com. This episode is the audio edition of my weekly newsletter. That is called Big Podcast Insider. This is issue 233. You will find all the links, the videos, the photos, the images, everything that I'm talking about at newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 233. Here's what we're talking about. Your podcast in my new book. Can AI design your podcast artwork? The art of voiceover cadences. Make your cables last longer. I'm talking mic cables, any audio cable. This will help make sure that your cables don't break. They're less likely to fail on you because of that. Too many microphones? We both know the answer. Podcasters are mad at Spotify. Again. This episode of Build a Big Podcast is brought to you by Riverside.fm, a virtual studio that makes recording and editing the highest quality possible accessible to anyone. We're talking about AI. We're talking about the ability to get out your content. I don't take it for granted that we've got tools like Riverside. I was telling a guy the other day that when I started in radio, I was in college. It was a big deal to even have studio time. You might be able to get, I don't know, a couple hours a week, 3-4 hours a week, who knows? But you had to sign up for it. There's one production studio for the entire campus. And not everybody was a radio student, but man, you had to work for that. You had to find time when you were available, when the studio was available. And if you're doing an interview, a time when your guest is available. You do not have those issues with Riverside.fm. It lets you take the studio wherever you are. If you've got a computer, you got a microphone, a quiet space, that's your studio. You're going to look and sound your best. It records you and your guests locally, bypassing poor and unstable internet connections and giving you studio quality audio, if you got a camera, video. Also, if you're in that churn and burn, you're doing a daily thing, you got to go to the next day, you don't have time to relax, Riverside.fm is going to make that a whole lot easier. Lightning fast editing, a lot of it powered by AI. They've got something called Magic Clips. It takes your long form audio, it finds the most interesting parts for social media, it chops it up, give you those little bitty clips, you take it out to social media, you bring people back into your podcast. You've got recording, you've got editing, you've got the promotion, all under the Riverside umbrella. If you want to try it for free, they're going to give you a couple of hours. It's riverside.fm. Go there and check it out, riverside.fm. If you want to stick around, I've got a discount code for you. It's going to get you 15% off for life. The discount code, Big Podcast, BIGPODCAST. That's riverside.fm. Go there right now. Get your free account. Check it out for a couple hours to see if it works for you. And if you want to stick around, the discount code, Big Podcast, BIGPODCAST. Here we go. Thing to thing to thing, all of them about podcasting, all of them linked, the videos, the images, the photos, anything that I'm mentioning. You'll find that at newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue 233. Before I go to that next thing, you're going to hear that sound. And that's how you know. If you want those photos, videos, images, if you just want to read what I've written, Newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 233. You ready? Here we go. Your podcast in my new book. Let me rephrase that as a question. Your podcast in my new book? Yeah, it could be. I'm very close to finishing the manuscript for my upcoming book. It is about podcasts launching or relaunching. It's a whole plan. I guide you through every single thing that you need to do. You get the philosophy, the big picture stuff, but you're also getting a 30-day plan. And beyond that, because that's just the initial launch, I give you things that you can do every day, every week, every month to keep your podcast at the forefront of people's minds. I've done a few books, 3 of them about podcasting. I feel that this is one of my strongest ones. Book writing, a lot like podcasting. I think the first book that I did, 1999, it might have been 2000 or 2001, but it's been about 25 years. It's hard to believe. Like podcasting, if you stick at it, obviously I've got 25 years of additional experience. You stick at it, you have that experience, it's a better product. I'm really proud of this. I'm excited to get it out to you, and there's an opportunity for you to be in it. By the way, if you want to see a mock-up cover, I've got it at newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 233. I'm mentioning this now, probably, 4 to 6 months before the book is released, because before the manuscript is done, that's when I need to know that you're a good match to be in this book. I've released books in the past. I had a guy walk up to me at a podcasting conference. He said, "Oh man, I should have been in this book." I said, "I reached out to you about being in this book. You said you're going to get back to me and schedule. You never did." I didn't tell him I was reaching out to get him in the book, to get that story, because until I get that story, I don't know that it's a good match. But I did reach out to him specifically to try to get him in the book. So don't be like that guy. "Man, I should have been in this book. You should have put me in it." Well, maybe I'm trying, man. So I'm putting this out there to everybody who's listening to this podcast, who's in the newsletter, all my clients. I want to have the best examples of independent podcasters specifically that are using some of the things that I'm talking about. And you are going to be using some of these things that I'm talking about, I guarantee you. Because I want to show people that it can be done. That's where you come in, showing people that it can be done. When I need a specific example, I need it quickly because I'm working on a specific section and I want to move on. Again, 4 to 6 months, I want to be done with this thing. By the way, it's about 3 years behind. I don't write books that can be released in 6 months. This is the real deal, in-depth launch plan. There's been a lot of thought that's going into it. And to be honest with you, a lot of procrastination on my part. A lot of second guessing. Is this section exactly what I want to say? Because a book, unlike podcast, unfortunately, unlike YouTube videos, definitely unlike social media, it lasts a while. And I got a reputation. I want this thing to be good. That's why I'm putting the call out. I want to have great examples of independent podcasters that are doing very specific things. If you want to be on the call list, so I can say, "Hey, I'm looking for this very specific thing. Are you doing it?" Let me tell you how to do that. You can get on the mailing list. If you are not on the mailing list, I'll give you my podcast toolkit just for getting on it. You'll find the link to get that at newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 233. The second thing you can do, follow me on social media, specifically Blue Sky. It's kind of a Twitter knockoff, made by the same guy who founded Twitter. Twitter, cesspool. It's not even worth being on there. Haven't been on there for months. Depending on your market, it might be worth it for you. It has not been worth it for me, so I don't even go there. However, Blue Sky, it is great. There's a great podcasting community. If you're not familiar with it, they've recently opened it up to everybody. I've got a link for you to join. It's at newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 233. Let me give you examples of what I'm going to be looking for. If you launched your podcast with a giveaway, if you launched your podcast with a media tour, meaning you're going to other podcasts, you're going to TV, you're going to radio, you're going to newspapers, any kind of media publicity that you're doing, that would be interesting to me. Podcasts that launched with a live event, that could have been something that you did online. Listeners, potential listeners, getting people together on a Zoom call, doing whatever kind of online events that are available to you in your market. Or you did an in-person, honest to God, real life, I can reach out and touch you, smell you, taste you, feel you. That kind of live event. That's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. And those are just examples. They're not specifically what I'm looking for right now. I may be soon, but I'm going to get to those specific examples. I'll be sending them out via the mailing list, sending them out via Blue Sky. Are you doing these things? Like I said, probably. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. What I've done is I've put together a plan, something that is structured, not just, hey, man, let's just put it out, see if people listen, run to the flagpole, see if people salute. That's what a lot of people do. This is a plan, again, stuff that you've done, but it's in a very specific order. And honestly, it probably is more than you've done. It's pretty in-depth, man. Not only am I releasing the book, I'm releasing a workbook that goes even deeper. If you really want to grow an audience, this is a good way to do it. Maybe not so easy, not as far as sticking with things, but it is a simple process. Anybody can do it if you're willing to stick with it. I'd love to get you in this book if you're a match. I'm excited to get the book in your hands. By the way, in addition to a companion guide, a workbook for the overachievers, there will also be an audiobook version. It will be me reading the book to you, so you'll feel like a rich man. I think this is one of those titles that, depending on the part of the book, I like audio because you can listen to it while you're doing other things. You're at the gym, you're driving. A lot of this is mindset related. It's some big picture stuff, but it is going to be nice for you to have something in writing. Like I said, there's a 30-day plan. There's some additional structured plans in there. Here's what to do monthly, quarterly. Every year, you're going to want to think about this. That's nice to have in writing. Regardless of how you consume it, I got you covered. That's going to be coming soon. I'd love for you to be in it. If you want more information, newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 233. I want to talk to you for a second about Big Podcast AMP. If you like this podcast, if you like the newsletter, you're going to love Big Podcast AMP. It's the audio monetization program. That's what it stands for, AMP, audio monetization program. It's personal coaching. You and me can help you do three things. One, grow your podcast audience. Two, get people talking about your podcast. And three, get you making more money with your podcast and your podcasting skills. I've got something that I'm working on. I have not announced it yet, but I'm very excited to. Already in the studio. It is a new show. It is big and it is nationwide. That is all I can say now. I would not be in that room had it not been for the skills that I've learned in podcasting. I've done radio, as I had mentioned. I've been in recording studios all my life, but it is specifically the podcasting skills that I'm bringing to the table. And these guys are radio guys. And they're like, oh man, really? How we do things in podcasting, radio gets blown away by. How radio does things, we as podcasters can learn from them as well. I'll be making that announcement very soon. Until then, you can get details about working with me at bigpodcast.com/amp. That's bigpodcast.com/AMP. Can AI design your podcast artwork? Maybe we should ask, should AI design your podcast artwork? I mentioned a minute ago that some things are better in audio, some things are better in writing. This is an example of what I'm talking about. I've got a workflow to design art using ChatGPT. I made it based off of a guy who did something similar to create a LinkedIn banner. It's a great idea. There are 10 steps. You can follow the steps. Newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 233. You'll see them all there. You start off with a sketch. Ugly is fine. Just make sure it's legible. You can upload it to GPT. I show you how to do that. There are a few tools that you can use. More or less, it takes your idea. It makes it look professional. It's like working with a graphic designer. Eventually, what you're going to end up with is something you can upload into Canva. You can tweak it, export it, upload it to your podcast media host if you like it. Again, it's going to look professional. It's basically an AI graphic designer. All you need to get going is a rough sketch and a clear prompt. I show you how to do that. You're going to want to see it in writing. I've got it linked. Newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 233. By the way, if you use this, you like what it did, you don't like what it did, I want to see it. I talked about Blue Sky earlier. Send it to me via Blue Sky. Again, get the process, all the links to everything that you need. Newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 233. The art of voiceover cadences. Vocal cadence is the rhythm, speed, the inflection of your voice as you speak. It keeps listeners engaged, it makes your audio sound professional, and it helps your personality shine through. Talked about the morning announcements guys on the high school PA system. Hello, everyone. Today's lunch is fish sticks and French fries. You're not that, man. And that comes from what I said earlier. That comes from time in the studio. How great is it that we can walk into a studio or just hold up a mic to ourselves? Maybe your studio is wherever you are. Actually hear yourself and what you sound like. I saw this speech with Terry Gross. This is great. This is a live event. So really amazing to see her. She was maybe, I'm trying to do the math because she's about my mother's age. So late 60s, let's say she was in her early 20s. She said, this is going to sound weird, but we had never heard our voice on tape before. We never had a chance to record ourselves. Kids today, they don't think anything of it. I mentioned this a bajillion times. My wife is a photographer. She's working with professional models. And these are women that are coming in, and I say women, young women, 18 to maybe 22. So they're coming in at the beginning of their careers, but even if they get signed at age 18, they already have experience posing because of why? Selfies, Instagram. They know about filters. They know about makeup. They're coming in with more talent baked in than people did 5, 10 years ago. That's how we are as podcasters. That's what I mentioned earlier. You've got these podcasting skills, radio, broadcasting, even Instagram and YouTube videos. They want what you've got. We have developed these skills. So let's get back to the art of voiceover cadences. You've got those things because you've played your audio back. If you're doing your job, you're editing. You're finding out what works and what doesn't work. So whether you're telling a story, you're interviewing a guest, you've got that strong cadence. You've got, instead of a flat delivery, something dynamic and something memorable. You want to work on your cadence? Let me tell you 3 things that you can do right now, today. It can be a test podcast. I do one every day. It's called The Sausage Factory. I read, improvise, and think on my feet. That is it. Do people hear it? No. Do I care? No, because it's for me. Now, this podcast, yeah, I care because this is for you. But the other podcast, it's like those models doing their Instagram videos, Instagram photos. It prepares them for the real work, the work where they're getting paid, the work where they're reaching people. Let me take you back to this national show. You know how many people listen every week? 1.3 million. How do you get prepared for something like that? Your first 100 people, your first 1,000 people, your first 10,000 people. You want to play the big stage? You got to do the small stage. So let's get to the work that it's going to take. These 3 things. 1, record and listen back to yourself. You can take a short segment of your show. You can record yourself. The important thing is you listen back to it and you listen critically. You need to pay attention to any monotone stretches, awkward pauses, then make a note where you can vary your pitch and your pacing. Second thing, practice reading aloud with emotion. That gets to the Sausage Factory podcast. I'm reading, I'm improvising, and I'm thinking on my feet. The first thing, reading, and that's reading aloud with emotion. You can't just think this stuff. You got to have it come out your mouth. So pick a news article, a script, whatever. Just read it out loud. You can exaggerate different emotions, excited, serious, surprised. I always talk about the used car salesman, strip club DJ, whatever. Those things are great to start with because they're so over-exaggerated. And when you start as a new podcaster, you're going to feel that you are those guys, even if you're just a little bit less monotone. Because it's weird to be like that. Nobody has to hear this. So practice with that radio voice. It's 2 for 1 crab legs at Red Lobster. Do that kind of thing. When you hear it, have a good laugh. And for your podcast, tone it back. If you want to know how fast you can go, you've got to crash the car. Any less than that, and you might have been able to go a little bit faster. So go faster, crash the car, exaggerate it. FM radio DJ, strip club DJ, used car salesman. Do it. Then tone it back. It's going to help you discover new ways to emphasize words. It's going to help you break up your rhythm. Have fun with it. Third thing, use pauses for impact. You want to deliberately insert short pauses after key points or before punchlines. That gives your listeners a time to process what you're saying and also makes your delivery feel intentional and confident. Rush Limbaugh, a very divisive guy. People seem to love him or hate him. Let me tell you why I love him. Even after he lost his hearing, you know about this? Addicted to OxyContin, man. High out of his mind. He was in a lot of pain. He developed an addiction to prescription pills. And to be serious about this for a second, addiction is no joke. It does not discriminate. Opioids, extremely addictive. One of the big downsides, if you really abuse them, you're going to lose your hearing. And that's what happened to Rush. This is how good he was at radio. He was doing the show for a long time through a teleprompter. Eventually, cochlear implant, he could hear again, kind of. Sounds metallic. It's not perfect, but he was able to do his job till the day he died, more or less. The pauses, the intention of words. This is why I like him. He could get on and do a show with very few callers, only occasional guests. 3 hours. Try it. Not easy. Do I like his content? Absolutely not. but he's a great guy to listen to if you're wanting to develop what I'm talking about, voiceover cadence. Mr. Snurdly. If you're not already doing a Sausage Factory podcast, the thing that I mentioned, reading, improvising, thinking on your feet, do try it. You can go to Anchor. They call it Spotify for creators now. Set one up. Nobody has to listen to it. Don't publicize it. This is your time to be a used car salesman. We got Kias. You got a paycheck? Come on in. We're going to get you set up at $49 a week. Work with it. Have fun with it. Nobody has to hear about it. Go balls out. You want more on vocal cadence? I've got a video for you to watch. You can find it at newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 233. Make your cables last longer. This is important, and let me tell you why. When you wrap cables, when you just throw them in a bag without much regard for them, if you're going on location, if you're in a situation where you've got an important interview, or really any interview, it's all important. You never know what's going to happen. You want your cables to work. What a lot of people do when they wrap their cables, they're going to shorten one end, they're going to lengthen the other, the cable snaps. Not good when you've got to record something. You don't want that cable to fail on you. Because of this, you want to be aware of the over-under cable wrap method. It's a technique that's used to coil cables in a way that alternates the direction of each loop. It prevents twisting, it prevents kinking. Those are the things that damage the internal wires, and they will drastically reduce your cable's lifespan. When you use the over-under method, cables lay flat when they're uncoiled, they reduce tangles, they're going to make setup and tear down much faster. It's going to look more professional as well. You don't want to go into a situation, you got all these crazy kinked up cables, you look crazy, so make a trip over one because it's not laying flat. You're going to have better signal integrity, you're going to save money in the long run by avoiding frequent replacements. You want to see it? I got a video that shows you how to do it. It is very easy. I jump rope. I do it with my jump ropes. You'll find all sorts of ways to use this. It's the over-under cable wrap method. I got a video that shows you how to do it. It's linked at newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 233. Too many microphones? Well, that depends on who you ask. My divorce attorney, he has assured me that the size of my collection, perfectly reasonable. No, I'm kidding. I'm not getting divorced. I actually only use 2 microphones for the most part. I've got an RE20. I'm speaking into it now. This is what I use in my studio. If I'm doing a remote, usually an SM57. It's a $99 mic, or it was. They just raised the price for the first time since the 90s. $109 right now. Still an amazing bargain. I use it not only because it sounds great, but because it's reliable. Just like you don't want your cable to fail, you do not want your microphone to fail. Those are the 2 mics that I use. I do a funny joke about this. It's at newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 233. Podcasters are mad at Spotify. Again. When you reach enough people, a few of those people, maybe a lot of them, they're going to be angry. And you as a podcaster, you've probably experienced that. You're not going to make everybody happy. Spotify is no exception to this rule. And now they're making podcasters mad because they're making play info, and I'm going to put play in quotes, they're making that info public. That means that everybody and his brother will now see how popular your podcast is on the platform. I think the big issue for most indies is that so much of success, it's another word we need to put in quotes, success, so much of that in podcasting is smoke and mirrors mixed with self-deception. It is hard to look honestly at yourself, and even harder when everybody can see it too. It's much more fun to pretend. James Cridland, you might know him from Pod News, he made a good point, one of many actually, that this is a self-serving move, and that podcasters, if they want more plays on Spotify, they're going to drive people to Spotify. I would argue that it's that way with any platform. For example, if you want to move up Apple's charts, you're going to drive all your traffic to Apple. You're not going to spread it out between Apple and Spotify and YouTube and Grandpa's Coonskin podcast directory. You're going to send them all to Apple. It's like a laser beam, focusing all that intensity instead of diffusing it over a bajillion different spots. So I don't think it's that much different. I get it from a frustration standpoint, not only just for podcasters, but also for listeners. Think about it with music. If you look up an artist on Spotify, a musical artist, and you see somebody's got 5,000, 10,000 plays, a lot of plays, but not a lot when it comes to Spotify. I was interviewing a songwriter who had 1 billion plays of one song on Spotify. 1 billion. That's one of those things that might get you to click. You think, I wonder what that sounds like. 1 billion people liked it. Maybe I'll like it. 1,000, 10,000 plays, maybe not. And maybe you like the song. Then you go to the page, see it's like 1,000 or 10,000 plays. Instead of thinking, I'm a hip guy and I found something that not a lot of people know or not a lot of people know yet. You might think, maybe it's not that good. There have been studies done with Coca-Cola, with Pepsi, some of the bigger brands that when they serve it in a Coke can or a Pepsi can, that it tastes better to people. We are affected by this. Podcasters, we're sensitive to this. We want to be liked. We don't want everybody up in our business. I get it. Or maybe you got something like me where this podcast, most podcasters, you're not listening on Spotify. You're listening via RSS. You're listening via Apple. It depends on the market. Some markets, you could have a very successful podcast outside of Spotify because nobody in your market listens to Spotify. If you're a younger market, 20-somethings, maybe you're going to have more luck there. The old guys, we want RSS, DVDs, maybe VHS. We consume media differently. I've got a list of what a play, again, putting that in quote, is for Spotify. If you're curious about it, you can see this at newsletter.bigpodcast.com. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Reach out to me via Blue Sky. To me, it is what it is. Pick your battles. To get that list, to get the link to let me know your thoughts, newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 233. That's it. Another episode of Build a Big Podcast, the marketing podcast for podcasters. Hey, I'm excited about this new book. I would love to get you in. Remember, if you go to bigpodcast.com, there is a list that you can sign up for. If you want to follow me on Blue Sky, that's another way for you to get these notices of what I'm looking for in the moment. So you can respond back to me. If you're a match for what I'm looking for, you're going to be in this book. And half-life of a book, a little bit better than a podcast, YouTube video, social media message. Forever immortalized, at least for a couple months. I appreciate you listening. And if you want to subscribe and make sure that you never miss an episode, this is how to do that. Same link, bigpodcast.com. I've got a subscription page there. One click is all it takes for you to subscribe via iPhone, Android, or an RSS feed. One click. Everything will be automatically downloaded from the Big Podcast supercomputer to your phone, to your computer. Wherever you listen to your podcast, I got you. It takes one click. You'll find that at bigpodcast.com. And if you want to work with me personally, Big Podcast AMP, that's audio monetization program, also available at bigpodcast.com. You and me working one-on-one to grow your podcast, get more people to it, and make you money with your podcast and your podcasting skills. Again, I appreciate you. Thank you for listening. I'll see you on the next episode of Build a Big Podcast. Bro, you good? My dog just walked into the studio. I'm in a box, and I left this thing open because it's thundering outside. He does not like the storm. So, what's up, P? Yeah, I got a co-host today. You can never get back an important moment. Now I got somebody calling me. All right. Yo, what's up, babe? Oh, is it that bad? All right, you're on my podcast now. Yeah, I can do that. P's up here in the studio with me. Yeah. I should put you on the speakerphone here. All right, cool. Yeah, let me pause on this and I'll grab an umbrella and we'll unload you. No, it's all good, babe. Yeah, no, it's all good. All right, babe. I'll see you soon. Yeah, man. I'm not getting divorced. I got to go rescue my wife. She's stuck in the garage with a bunch of groceries and we're in the middle of a huge storm.